Welcome to Stuck, Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and we have advice for startup businesses. So if you're new, tune in. Today's guest is really important for you guys. This is John Eyres from Business Connections Consulting, and he's going to talk to you about cold calling, everybody's favorite thing to do, and how to overcome that dislike for it, and why it's so important. So thank you for coming, John.
Yeah, I'm real excited to be on the show and share some information that'll be very helpful. My company's been in business over 15 years. I did 20 years of sales background experience with corporate world. So I'm very good at being on the phone, and I love to be on the phone. And I've got some great information to share in a brief amount of time.
Oh, excellent. Well, let's start. Why is cold calling so important?
Well, number one, it's a personal means of communicating with someone. You can do email blasts and try to have people come to your website and things like that. But reaching out and making a phone call, it's just a more personal way to address and talk to people and share information about your company.
So what are some important things to remember when you're cold calling?
Number one, what's real important is the list that you create to call on. Some people have lists, many don't. So 2 resources I was going to share. You can use list broker resources, and there's many, many, many of them. I would recommend infousa.com. Over the years of my business, I would say over 90% of my clients that provide lists to us purchase them from that company. The other thing you can do is, and again, I know cost savings is important for new business owners. You can go to the library, get help with the administrator there, but you can look up and create a list of who you want to contact for free at the library.
I've always said that people underestimate how important and wonderful reference librarians are. They're so much better than Google for so many things.
It's so right, and that's definitely true, and it can be a great resource. The second thing I want to share is how important scripts are. You've got to have a script, and it should be short and sweet and to the point. So what I always recommend is do an introduction, a body, and then the close for the call. So make sure you want to know the purpose for your call. Are you trying to set up a meeting? Are you trying to set up a phone call or a Zoom session? Be very specific as you close, and I'll share that in a minute. In the introduction, that should be about 2 sentences with your name and your company name that you share as an introduction, and then very brief sentence about what you do. In the body is where you want to bring home some specific information to the person you're talking to. And what I recommend is bullet points. They're very easy to read for you off the script, and they're easy for the listener to hear on the phone. Don't share a lot of benefits, we do these products and that. Bring value and show where you're a problem solver and the solutions you can offer them. And the close will always be something like this. The purpose for my call today is I'd like to set up a meeting with you or a Zoom session for 20 minutes. My best days to do that are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, anytime between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. What works best for you? Mm-hmm. If they don't want to do that meeting or a Zoom call, then I recommend a step-down approach and ask them, would it be okay to email you our one-page e-brochure, which is a quick snapshot overview of our company, so that in the future, when you want to reach out to us, you have everything you need. It's gold, and that way you now get their permission to get their email, and you can start some email communication with them. The third area that I think is real important is understanding you as the caller. The psyche, the mindset of cold calling is, I'm scared of it. I don't want to do it. But if you're prepared and you have everything lined up and you've done your practice, don't forget to practice that script. I have my call team members print out 2 copies of the script when I send it to them. One goes to the bathroom for them to rehearse, and the other one goes maybe to the living room while they're watching TV or whatever. If there's a commercial break or a break in time, I want them to practice and read over that script 50 or more times. Practice it so it's very fluid and very easy and doesn't sound like you're reading it from the paper. Also, to help you better know how to work your calling, you need to understand your matrix. And real brief, what that is, for instance, example, if you want to set up 5 Zoom calls a week, you need to track your calling for 2 weeks. And you might determine that to set up 5 Zoom calls live with someone, you need to talk to 30 people live on the phone. And you back that up one more area to get a hold of talking to maybe 25 to 30 people live on the phone. You determine you have to make 100 to maybe 120 phone call dials, because every person you dial, they might not be in the office. You might get a voicemail. They could be in a meeting. They might be in a conference call. So be prepared to do a lot of calling to get to that live person. So once you know your matrix, and let's say it ends up at 100 dials you need to make a week, then determine how many calls an hour can you make. If you can do 20 calls an hour, you need to dedicate 5 hours a week to make calls so that you hit your matrix numbers.
Keep a spreadsheet and track. And I would think your voicemail script is a little bit different from if you've actually got them in person.
If you do leave a voicemail, a couple key items to remember there. When you finish your call, tell them the best time to reach you is after 4:00 p.m. each business day. And here's my cell phone, 314-495-2089. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them you're leaving them your cell phone and the best time to reach you during the week each day.
I would also think that once you've got a list, if you do a little research so you know what the pain points are of any particular person you're calling, you can really target which services will address those particular pain points.
If you purchase a list from a broker, the advantage there is you can give them all the demographics you want for them to put together that list. And if you tell them the person, the title that you're looking for, they can create that list, maybe with the business owner or the VP of sales and marketing or whatever it might be. They'll put that list together with that person's name and the main number for the phone corporate office, and that's who you call. And most lists are going to start out 100 names will cost about $99. And the more names you purchase on the list, a lot of times they'll give you cost breaks.
Okay, well, thank you so much, John. That's really important stuff. And I'm sure you also have some additional tips for people if they want to contact you.
Definitely. Maybe as we close, I was going to share just a couple other things for the person making the calls, that business owner, entrepreneur. One thing, try to have a mirror at your desk, and before you start your calling, smile at that mirror. It does 2 things. It relaxes your larynx muscles, and you're going to have a better sounding voice, and it helps you take some tension off for you starting your calling. Also, make sure you use maybe a timer. You want to try to be very brief and don't sell on the phone. Your goal is to maybe set up a time to do a phone call in that type of area. And then make sure you use a headset so your hands are free and you can type notes as well as be able to express yourself when you're on the call. Can be a big benefit.
Excellent. This has been great. Thank you so much, John Eyres. And any startup needs to be able to do cold calling, because if you don't have customers, you don't have profit. And if you don't have profit, who's going to invest in your company?
That's right.
So, thanks for joining us for Stuck, Time to Improv.